Hey everybody, and welcome on back to Building with Whip. I am so freaking excited to be back here in the world. We are going to be working on some awesome new projects. In today's episode, we are going to be starting building up our ruined castle. So for a long time, I've been wanting to build a new castle, but mixing this one up a little bit from what we've done before. Instead of going with the typical old theme of this fancy, fully furnished, completed castle with all the interiors and all the works and everything, we are going to build something completely ruined, so I don't even have to try and make an interior to it. But anyways, in the last episode, we did come through here and finish up the wandering trader caravan that we were working on over by our fossil excavation site, which was so freaking fun to be building up. I had a great time doing that one, so thank you all so much for joining me on that. And beyond that, we were able to make a good amount of progress on the mountain, starting to define a new valley area by working on doing a little bit more on the scaffolding side of things there. I think it's looking pretty freaking awesome. Anyways, where we are at now is exactly where this ruined castle is going to be going. If we take a look at the map, you guys will see that we are about like 2/3 of the way down here towards where our original village that we started off season 2 with remaking. We're kind of like halfway in between that and getting back up to our desert city. And I think this little valley area that we have, this little passageway right down here, is going to be perfect for having the castle sitting on top of that hill, just a little tower on top of there, and then stretching all the way out over the rest of this hill here, which I think would be super cool to be building up. Anyways, I think a way that we can get a much better look at this thing is chopping all of these trees down and seeing what the hill looks like itself. Now that we have the big majority of all these trees chopped down, I left these ones in for now because I originally wasn't thinking about removing them. But now I kind of want to do a lower retaining wall throughout this area along the base of that river, so we can have a lower wall split off into the higher wall, and this whole thing is going to look very, very crumbled. So what I want to do with you all here before we go out on a mass resource gathering expedition, because I'm very low on a lot of the resources that you can see on my hotbar here. This is basically all that we really have to our name right now, and a few more slabs up here as well. And I wanted to start off by taking a look at what we might be doing with our wall, and also showing you all how big of this area is that we cleared out here. Look at this thing. This ruined fortress is probably going to be one of the bigger castles I've ever built, but luckily it's all going to be completely broken, so it shouldn't be too massive. What I wanted to do here was actually start out with some 2 thick walls, which I think is going to be very important for selling this old ruined castle look. So we're just going to basically take this little stretch right here and turn this into our own wall, and I think it'll turn out pretty well. So we take this guy, and to get ourselves started, let's just bring some cobblestone along here, and then that is all going to be filled in across the top of this thing as well. Bring in a little bit of andesite, and we want to make sure that this wall looks very, very crumbled and fallen apart, and nothing is really sticking too crazy with it, so it doesn't have to be completely thickened up all the way to the tippy top here. So it's okay if a few parts are crumbled away, broken away, just kind of mix match pieces going throughout here. And I think in the end, I think we're really going to be able to sell this with it just looking so crazy and broken down, and a lot of mossy cobblestone and things like that going around here, so that it feels very much broken. So the whole thing feels very crumbled and falling apart. And I think bringing in a bunch of our slabs here as well can be a great way to kind of sell that idea. And whether we're bringing in some cobblestone or some andesite throughout here, basically what I want to do is make this area look very worn as it goes up, so it gets lighter and lighter in the textures. And at the top, we're going to have a tiny bit of stone dotted in here to make it feel much lighter, which I think will be doing a great job for us. And so if we take these guys right here, bring this stuff all the way around, and then what are we looking like at the end of this? I think that's going to be a perfect design that we can use for the wall. What we could also do here is make it look like chunks of it have fallen out. So if we come in here like this, and we can do something like you, and then maybe do some andesite stair right there, just stuff like that, make it look like there's holes in the wall, because we have a 2 thick wall design, so we can actually incorporate a lot of these holes in here. You know what, from over here, I think that's going to be pretty much perfect. I'll tell you what though, we are out of resources. I think it's time to go farming. Popping over here into our quarry, we can do a good old bit of beacon mining. The plan here is to get a bunch of stone and a bunch of andesite, because I think this will be the perfect spot for it. So let's drop on down. And it still works in 1.14. That's good. We got a lot of stone and andesite out of the quarry, so I think we could come over here and grab some mossy, and we got none of that. How about some cobblestone? All right, we got a few shulker boxes of that, so we should be good to go on that guy for now. I don't know how there's a zombie spawning up here, but apparently they spawn in the nether now. Not quite sure where he came from, but everything's repaired up. It's time to go get some moss stone. All right, I am sorry to interrupt, but I have never seen one of these guys before, and I saw him while I was flying over, and we just have to absolutely stop here. The very first panda we have seen in Minecraft. I gotta get some bamboo for you, buddy. We gotta give him some bamboo. I gotta see it. Do you take the oh, that is so great. Do you take the little bamboo, little guy? Oh, I don't. Okay, we're gonna make you grow up big and strong. Plenty of bamboo for you. You're so cute. Probably not one of the most obvious places to go farming for moss stone in the world, but it's probably one of the best of them. So I'm gonna hang out here in the mega taiga, and we're gonna grab up quite a bit of the moss stone lying around here. See, we already got 12. This is gonna be great. And we're back over at the castle site, and we've got a shulker box of andesite, more or less, a shulker box of cobblestone, and another one of cobblestone. Then we got a thing of dirt here, and a thing of stone, and then a bunch of mossy stone over in this guy. And it is time, I think, that we go ahead and do a little bit of terraforming. Because right now, if we look at it, it's some weird corners right there, some weird corners right there. And most definitely, we need to fix up what this central area right here looks like. I love the size of it. I love the shape of it. But I think that face right there in particular needs to be changed a little bit. So I think we're going to put 1 hour on the clock and see how much terraforming we can do. First off, while we're going through this terraforming time lapse here, I just want to take a second to stop and say thank you for 100,000 subscribers. I've been waiting so long to be able to say that, so thank you all so much for that. I think at this point we're going to be pretty far beyond it, but with my current schedule, I'm recording a bit in advance, and more on the recording a bit in advance, I'm actually going to be traveling for the week that you guys see this. I'll be traveling out this week, the next week, and the week after. So I'm gone for about 3 weeks. So we're going to see what the upload schedule is going to be like going into it. I did factor in a few extra days off of work where I'm not actually working and I'm just at home to be making a lot more videos. But if things are a little on the lighter side for the next 2-3 weeks, that is why. So I just want to give you all a big heads up on that. I mentioned it a few times at the end of videos, but I know not everybody gets there. So let's see if anybody watches the middle of the video. Anybody in the middle of the video? Let me know down in the comments below. Anyways, let's get back into the world. I think it's time to actually do the planning here. The few little bits of terraforming tweaks we were able to do over here honestly makes this area feel a lot larger. Something about taking these rolling hills and just adding in these stone areas to make it feel more broken up and not just being green, kind of going all the way across it, makes it feel so much sharper and so much steeper. And I really like it. I am super happy with this one. I think what I want to get started out with here first is I've been thinking this roadway coming through out here, instead of just having it turn off in this direction, I think I want to make it split over here. And then we'll have a bridge kind of going that way and a little bit of a walkway leading ourselves up there to getting into the keep. So I'm going to figure out our entryway here. And then I think we'll jump over into time-lapse mode and see if we can't plan this thing out from above. These guys are just staring at me ominously with their crossbows, but they have not moved forward the entire time I spent building up this bridge. They did not move. They spawned literally right as soon as we ended the clip, and they have stayed there the entire time. But I think this bridge is going to be a good starting point for us. One thing I did want to mention on this one here is that today's episode is all about getting the plan down here. We're not doing a whole lot of detailing and adding the extra bits and bobs of like the overgrowth, making it looking super crumbled and all that stuff in today's episode. A lot of this is just about the planning and getting everything in place so that we know what we can do moving forwards. So that's kind of why this one is a little bit more on the basic side. I'll tell you all what though. I think the best way to show you all how to plan a castle, how to plan a ruined castle, is through a time lapse. And now what you all came here for, we are going to be planning out this castle, and the end result is absolutely awesome. But getting ourselves started here, we are starting with what will be the front gate structure, what would have been the front gate structure here. The idea that I want to go with, as we've talked about a lot so far, is that we're going to be using a ruined castle. For now, just when planning out the shapes and sizes and scale of everything, I'm not going to be using that ruined aspect too much. We're just going to be plotting out things as we go. And what I want to do here on this endpoint is we're going to add a corner tower with a circular tower going into square tower with a long rectangular building attached off the side of it. I think it'll be super cool looking to have all of that down there, then stretching this wall along the back of the castle here again as well. Coming into what is going to be a main structure, I want to make this civilization feel very old and ancient and different than anything else we have inside the world. A lot of what we've been using in the world has been a lot of square shapes or rectangular shapes just in general. Whereas on this one, I want to make everything very focused around circles and rounded shapes, and maybe they didn't have the architecture at the time to make these very concrete corners of very harsh edges, so they just kind of piled everything up as circles. But I also want to give a mystical vibe to this thing, and I think if you're thinking like Iliad ruins back from like Elder Scrolls or something like that, that's kind of the vibe that I'm really going to end up going for here. I think it could be a really cool one. So we're going to be using a lot of skinnier towers here, a lot of smaller ones like you see these structures that we're building right here. The biggest tower that we're going to have is going to have a 5x5 interior. A lot of these rounded ones I think are going to get skinnier as they go up, coming into kind of like a mystical spire point type thing out of it, really just making it feel a lot more unique than anything else. Then coming over to this backside, we add on another structure that'd be something like a mess hall. And moving into the bridge, this is probably my favorite part of the thing. I spent a lot of time on this one. What I did here was I built this thing all the way across. It's like 39 blocks or something like that. Then I counted in 8 blocks from each side, and then that got us roughly to where we are right now. And we got these big, huge pillars going all the way down to the ground. And using a triple sloping thing, I didn't want to make one giant curve going along here, so to add in some extra detail, I want to make those 3 little ones on there that you're seeing right now. Then coming over to the far side, we are adding in another castle spire or castle outpost, because I really want to make this feel like it's overhanging the valley. It's really embodying and surrounding this entire valley area. So as you're seeing here, we kind of have it on both sides of the little pathway, which I think is going to be great. When we're walking through this area below, I think it's going to be so cool, that atmosphere that you're going to get throughout here. And we're going to make it very natural, very ruined, a lot of overgrowth in this area, which we'll be talking about later on and building that stuff up in a future episode most likely. But this one right here was really about getting the bridge in place, getting the walls in place for what it's going to look like, and just finally bringing these last few structures throughout here. Right now, it doesn't feel too completed off as we're moving throughout the structure. And what I wanted to bring in as we get all of these walls in here, which now every single wall is roughly in place for what it's going to look like until we build the whole thing up. I actually ran out of cobblestone. I did want to stack them up some more, but I don't have the ability to. Because I am all the way out of this stuff. But anyways, what I want to bring in here at the last bit is something that doesn't require cobblestone, is I wanted to bring in a bunch of our coarse dirt so we could establish some pathways, make them look like the grass is starting to retake over this area. So it's not very thick coarse dirt going throughout here, but I felt like something that would help us get a lot better of an idea of the final shape and style of this whole thing is bringing in the coarse dirt pathways, so you could kind of see where people would be moving around. Maybe some adventurers are coming around here to explore this castle, some kids from a nearby village, something like that. Just people are wanting to explore and go see what's up here. So there's some pathways that there's still people walking throughout this ruined, destroyed area, and maybe we'll add some bandits or some pillagers living in here, something along the way. If you guys think that'd be a cool idea, let me know. But that is our rough castle design so far. I think we're going to get a little bit more work done on the bridge here in the episode. And so with that, let's jump on back into it. I realized I totally forgot to show the plan that I'd come up with that I talked about earlier on the screen while we were going through the time lapse. So you guys will be able to see that on the screen right now. You'll see that we did change that up quite a bit from when we were running around previously doing some other things. But I think this end result we have right now is really great. As you can see, the plan, kind of that general idea is still there. I love doing that. Just get a general idea. Then when you get into Minecraft, you get down in there in your first person player mode and just start plotting things out. It can turn out a little bit different. Anyways, coming back over here into our actual world here without the pictures, I've been doing quite a bit of work here on our bridge. I really wanted to get this bridge worked on. I didn't want to get it completed. I just want to get this base kind of laid out for what it's going to look like. I think once we get some texture variation and everything in here, it's going to look really, really fantastic. But I think overall it's starting to get a good shape to it. I love this underside of it from a distance. It feels very, very grand, which is exactly what I was hoping to see. Basically what we did here was we have a stair, a full block, stair, stair, full block, then slab, slab, and bringing that right back down the other side. So it does have an even width to it overall, which is totally okay with me because we're using those slabs up there at the top. If we wanted to flatten that top out a bit more, all you'd have to do is change out that full block for another stair, and it'd feel much, much flatter. Which, so if you're trying to do this yourself and you want to make it a little bit flatter, you can do that too, but I like the full block look. I will tell y'all what, I did go get a bunch more cobblestone. We got another 2 shulker boxes of the stuff over there. So we got quite a bit more stuff on that on hand here. I think what I'm going to do for the next little bit, because unfortunately we are going to have to cut this episode pretty short today, as you guys will see now by the episode duration, is just that I'm actually traveling a bunch for the next few weeks, and I basically have 6 days to pre-record hopefully 8 videos. So we'll see how that works out. We'll see how many I can get done there, and that'll be awesome. So you guys will see that by now. I'll probably be well over gone somewhere else. I think by the time this one goes out, I'm actually gonna be in Hawaii, so that'll be awesome. But I'll tell y'all what, I'm gonna put about a half hour on the clock, and I'm gonna try and go through this whole area, smooth a few of these wall bits out, and make it feel like they actually make more sense for what we have going on here. And now this is really starting to feel like a ruined castle, or at least an outline for a castle, more so than just being a bunch of lines traced across the top of a hill. So this is looking pretty freaking fantastic. I'm very happy with the end result here. I mostly was focusing on doing things along the front half so we could get that more completed feel as we're walking along the pathway down here, because I feel like that's probably what's more important right now. What's more important while we're working throughout everything here is getting everything figured out and just kind of looking good from one angle so we can figure out what the style is, what we're going to be going with here. And I am super excited. I think in the next time we are back over in this area, we're going to be working on the bridge and working on finishing up the stuff on the far side of our hill here. So basically everything that's disconnected, so we can really nail down that style in a small cohesive area where we can get everything lined out there, figured out and all that stuff, and then we can take that to the rest of the build and we'll have a much better idea there. Keeping that small controlled space is really going to help us out. But unfortunately with that, I am way out of time for today because, as mentioned before, that I'm doing a bit of pre-recording. So we'll see how many things I can get finished up here. We'll see when that next episode is for what's going on over there as well. So I really hope you all enjoyed. Unfortunately, no time-lapse working on over on the mountains today. Just don't have it in the schedule currently. But I promise I will be making this up to you all here very, very soon. We got a lot of exciting things coming down the road that I'll be talking about to you all later on. But anyways, that is going to have to do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Please hit that like button if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new, and I will catch you on the flip side. And we got a sheep in the tower.